Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Red Zone, our very own sports show brought to you by the good people, that's me, of This is Revolution Podcast. I am your host, Jason Miles. I'm thrilled to have you with us this evening. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So glad you're here. For our returning listeners, subscribers, especially our very valued patrons, fuck yeah. Oh yeah. You are the driving force behind the TIR machine. We could not do this without you. Just a reminder that I will be doing a live podcast with my neighbor and good friend Ben Burgess next month in San Francisco. That's right. We'll be talking on the question, is Donald Trump the end of history? April 17th at the El Rio, wherever you are watching or listening to this particular podcast, there was a link in the description for tickets. I look forward to seeing some familiar faces and meeting some new ones. Also, for the viewers of the main show, Kayfabe episode 1 is live, as well as all the other TIR video essays on Means TV. We watched one in the Champagne Room a few weeks ago. Personal Jesus, the seduction of philanthrocapitalism. Very proud of that video essay. But to view all of our video essays, as well as the other amazing content that Means TV hosts, go to meanstv.com and enter discount code This is Revolution and receive 20% off a monthly or yearly subscription. As some of you may know, Mac will not be here tonight. And that's okay, because I was talking with another person that knows sports very well. I trust his analysis, and he's way better in basketball than us. We don't talk much basketball. Today we're analyzing the current state of the NBA, and not just the on-the-court implications of the Warriors and Lakers making blockbuster trades. These trades have worked well for both teams that both have aging superstars. In the Lakers' case, may be on their way out. If the Lakers and Warriors do meet in the Western Conference Finals, who will come out victorious? Will Steph get another chance at a title, or will LeBron cement his legacy as one of the greatest of all time? Do titles really matter that much in team sports when we talk about the greatest player of all time? I don't know. Then we push back against the persistent need to anoint a singular face of the NBA. In an era where the league has fully globalized and international stars are as dominant as their American counterparts, does the insistence on a singular ambassador reflect a residual nationalism within sports media? Is this a last-ditch effort to maintain an outdated vision of the NBA rather than embracing its decentralized global reality? finally, we turn to hip hop, where Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance sparked debate. Was it a radical intervention into mainstream culture, a politically impactful display of revolutionary art, or did it ultimately function as a bourgeois spectacle, repackaging struggle into a commodity that fits neatly within the boundaries of corporate entertainment? This is Beyond the Red Zone, and I would like to welcome someone I'm excited. I'm proud to call this man friend, Big Wos. What's up, dude? Oh, we can't. Your mic.
I messed that up again. I'm good. I'm happy to be on with you guys.
Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me today.
Of course.
Had you not been here, I just would have opened up the phone lines. Just had people yell at me all day.
Mike in the Mad Dog style. I like that, man. I'm not mad at that.
I got the phone lines open. Screaming, had people screaming at me.
Sal and Bensonhurst, you're on with the fan.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about these trades. It's been been a month or a few weeks since these trades have gone down. A few weeks?
Yep.
Okay. Who got the better deal? The Warriors or the Lakers, or is it 1 and 1A in your opinion?
I mean, I think you have to say the Lakers did, in the sense that they got a guy who was 25 years old, who's finished top 5 in the MVP voting pretty much 5 years in a row, I'm pretty sure of. And so, just reaching the prime of his career. And so you got to say LA got the better of the deal, because Golden State, they got Jimmy Butler, who is basically the other end of that spectrum, right? Like, he was angling for an extra 2 years on his contract from Miami at top dollar. And Miami was like, look, why don't you play out the season and we'll see what's what. And I think Jimmy felt aggrieved that these guys didn't feel like he had earned, an extra extension on his deal after all of the stuff that he had done. Accomplished on the court, 2 finals appearances, another conference finals in between. But all of those playoff runs, they were underdogs. Nobody expected them to make those deep runs. It was because Jimmy Butler had a singular excellence. And so he felt aggrieved that they didn't want to give him the contract. So he basically pouted his way out of town. He bullied his way out of town, ends up with Golden State. But yeah, Jimmy, he got a 2-year extension. Actually, he got a 1-year extension and a raise on next year's deal.
Okay.
And the truth of the matter is, Luka Doncic was in line to get $350 million from the Dallas Mavericks this summer. Those are the differences in like where they're at in the NBA right now. So you got to say the Lakers got the better of the deals.
Jesus, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. And I forget how young Luka is. He has an old man body.
Yes, and I think that's that's part of the narrative of the trade. Like, I don't know how closely you follow NBA media, but when the Luka deal went down, like, it knocked everybody off of their socks.
Yes.
It's just that these guys don't hit the market ever. These guys, people Luka's age, and the ability to have cost control and contract control, meaning they could assign him for 5 years, meaning controlling his rights for another 5 years, even if they felt unhappy with where he was at developmentally. Next summer they could control him for 5 years, and within 5 years they could decide, all right, we'll move on from this guy, get a different package of younger guys, draft picks, etc. The fact that this guy was on the market, and nobody knew, that was another thing, that this came literally just dropped out of the sky. There was no inclinations. I had, and I had tweeted this the day that it happened. I had heard that the Lakers thought they were getting Luka Doncic, not this season. They thought Luka Doncic could be part of their future, maybe in 2 to 3 years or whatever. But nobody thought the Lakers were trading for Luka anytime soon. And so it just shocked everybody.
And the Lakers are doing well with Luka in the lineup.
Oh yeah. They were like, I want to say they started off like 7-2, 8-2 before LeBron's recent injury. Luka himself hasn't looked like peak Luka, but like even this guy not playing at his peak, he's just such a freaking basketball savant. Even when he's physically limited, limited. What am I in the projects? Even when
Not with
he's
those paintings behind you.
even when he's physically limited, he's still showing like how great this thing could possibly be. And it seemed to have rejuvenated LeBron in a way that, forced him to pull his grind the other day. So
LeBron James is about 40 years old.
yes.
He's not the first 40-year-old to play in the NBA, nor will he be the last, especially with the way athletes are taking care of themselves. Whether that be with legal or illegal substances, I am not aware, but athletes are playing at a higher level for a longer rate of time. Tom Brady we are literally the same age, and that man retired at 45 years old.
Yep.
At a high level. They lost a playoff game. It wasn't like he, was a shell of himself. So that being said, does LeBron want to continue to play with another superstar like Luka, regardless of the outcome of the season, to win one more title, to say that he is better than Jordan? Does that matter to him? What is his motivation at this point to keep playing? He did the thing where his kid got to play on the same team. And you can talk about the Stephen A. Smith thing if you like to. That was really funny.
I think LeBron, he hasn't said this, but I think it's kind of obvious that right now, most of what he does is to set up the next phase of his life post playing. I think playing still, you see that the fact that he's made sure to earn every single dollar possible, even if it meant staying on a Lakers team that probably didn't give him the best chance to chase championships, it shows you that he's very financially driven, because I think he does eventually want to own a team.
Okay.
And so every dollar matters. Like, you would think like making an extra $50 million for LeBron after 20 years of just earning wouldn't matter, but it does, because I think every penny matters to him, because I think he does want to get into sports ownership. And I think that's definitely motivating it. But also, I think he was really motivated by being in LA. Just all of his business interests are based out of here. He's got the production company, Spring Hill Uninterrupted. And so that's basically where he's putting a lot of his energies. And so that's what I see. Like, I think he loves being in LA because it's close to his business interest that he's very soon to be doing full time. And then, I think he's still playing at a high level.
Yeah.
And so he's still having fun with it. Right. The Bronny thing, I don't really want to get into that, but I'll just have folks understand that LeBron's been filming a Netflix documentary, Last Dance style, for the last 5 years. He's had cameras following him for the last 5 years. And if you don't think this freaking storyline with his son isn't like a contrivance of that freaking documentary, then I don't know what to tell you.
Wait a minute.
You didn't know that?
I'm going to ask you to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
We coming for you, nigga.
Had no idea. So that's how I feel right now with you. When I drive to where you live now, I was in LA a few days ago. It's 6 to 7 hours in a car. A lot of it in traffic. And so I do listen to sports radio the majority of the way there. So I have been hearing a lot of LeBron talk, but I have not been hearing about a documentary. Is the documentary following him and his son's journey to be the first father?
No, it's not. It's not about him and his son explicitly. It's about LeBron and his life and his career.
He's literally making the thing himself?
Yes, of course. Yes. This is the era that we're living in, man. Like, every NBA player, former player, has their own podcast. Everybody is a content maker. Like,
times.
yes.
Did you say this is a kid times? I need you to just sit me down like I'm a small, mildly retarded child. Explain. Now, I understand about the podcast thing, right? I get that. But he's filming his own documentary about himself. Is this kind of that peak moment where everybody should go, maybe this inverted male gaze, which is just us looking at ourselves in the mirror, asking how beautiful we are, should come to an end now? Or does this make us double down on that?
You know what I think is funny? I think like people, this is like well documented. You can go find reports of this. Like Michael Jordan watched. So let me rewind this back. ESPN had the rights to make and do a Jordan doc for years. And Mike just kept putting it off and blowing him off and putting him off. And like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. He watched LeBron come back, beat the Warriors. Sorry, Jason, in 2016. Get all of he could see the narrative groundswell around LeBron and this amazing feat, which legitimately Jordan had never pulled off something that miraculous in a final series.
That was crazy.
Right? And he watched LeBron getting all of this shit. And that was the moment he said, fuck it. ESPN, go make that doc so we can remind people who the fuck I am.
Damn.
Literally. And so The Last Dance comes out during the pandemic. Everybody is like actually literally reminded, like, God damn, Michael Jordan was something else.
And kind of a bastard. He was must-see
and a
TV.
bastard. Yes.
Yeah, no, it was great must-see TV.
He was a fascinating public figure. Just as interesting, compelling, attractive, just balletic. Like you just can't make this shit up. And I swear to God, Jason, it was around that time that I'm pretty sure LeBron and Netflix decided LeBron seen The Last Dance response. He's fucking glued to the chatter online. And he was like, yeah, I need to make my Last Dance because my story is fucking compelling too. Which I agree. I just don't think LeBron James should be the one to tell it.
You kind of, I don't know. I've had people say things to me like, oh, your story's kind of interesting. You should write a book. And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm that interesting. And I don't.
Your story is legitimately interesting,
but I don't want to write if someone else wants to write the story,
sure,
you can write the story, right? I don't want to.
Yeah, right? That's tough. Yeah, I completely agree.
No,
with
like you. I don't, because I think you're gonna have to be self-indulgent. You might have to over-exaggerate certain aspects of your life, or you give your life to someone in its in its true form, and someone goes, "Can we play up the beatings?" You know what I mean? Can we play up the poverty? Can we play up some aspect of your life so this can work better? And I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. And to be able to feel comfortable in the moment, to be like, we're going to set up a scene so people can really see how I am with my kids. And one of my kids is going to step out of line. I'm going to talk to him. Let's do that right now. Let's show how much I love my wife right now. Like, when you're setting that up yourself, it's kind of this moment that we're in where I don't know if you ever think about shit like this. Maybe I do because I'm just old and shit. Like you see these couples on the internet always showing how zany they are or how in love they are.
It's cap,
right? Every aspect of their life is just so.
We know that's cap, Jason.
But it's all content. It's like you have to create. If you're constantly creating, even if you do this shit, but then you go live stream your meal and I'm going to stream so long, I got to take shit and do all this other stuff, and we're doing on camera with you. It's like when you bring people in that much of your life, now all of your life is for the camera. So you're purposely living the Truman Show. The Truman Show isn't an atrocity. Is it the goal then? Oh, The Truman Show was a movie with Jim Carrey in the 90s.
You're silly.
I forgot. I'm like, oh, yeah, Watts is like 30 years old.
You're stupid. I know what the hell The Truman Show is, man. I'm old enough to remember seeing Jim Carrey on In Living Color.
Oh, well, fuck yeah. Big Wos, certified black man.
That's right.
But is that where we are? We want to be The Truman Show?
I think LeBron is kind of a special kind of case because he came of age in the internet age.
Yes.
He gets drafted in 2003. Facebook happens when 2004, 2005.
Something like that.
Twitter's 4 years after that, and we're just off to the races. So he's like the first social media mega wattage, super ridiculous star, right? And in Cleveland or Akron, sorry to be more accurate, LeBron was a celebrity since he was 15. Okay, so you're talking about a guy who is a child star, who grew up in a fishbowl from 15 on. And so that's 20. So basically, he's been doing it longer. He's been living in the fishbowl longer by a shit ton than he wasn't, right?
Yeah.
And so you think this is absurd that he would make this doc. Like, I would argue that to LeBron's side, this is the most natural extension of me as, I produce TV shows for Showtime. I've produced game shows. I've done other documentaries. He co-produced. I don't know if you guys watched that Starting Five documentary on Netflix. It's LeBron, Jason Tatum, Domantas Sabonis, Jimmy Butler, and Ant Edwards. Jimmy Butler and Ant Edwards, actual human beings, pretty interesting guys. Jason Tatum, what he wanted you to know was that he loves basketball, loves his mom, and loves his son. These are the things that we learned about Jason Tatum in this fucking doc. That's what LeBron produced, right? And so this is the kind of anodyne shit that LeBron has come to think defines athlete empowerment. It's that you control the message about you and you make sure that it's stripped of anything interesting at every single turn. And we're going to talk about this face of the NBA shit later, but I think it's derived. This conversation, I think, it's natural because people don't feel connected to the new crop of stars because they're all descendants and disciples of LeBron's business management. And what does that mean? Be as uninteresting as humanly possible to the public. Be as just stripped down, and all I do is hoop and say the right thing in public. Even when I do say something interesting, you could tell it's fucking made up and contrived. And LeBron just sees it as a natural extension. And what I would say to folks about the LeBron doc, and I'll let you jump in, Jason. I know I'm fucking
I'm loving this. I'm sitting back enjoying it. Just please.
If you've seen the O.J. Simpson documentary that ESPN did, which to my mind is the greatest sports documentary of all time, it's one of the best documentaries of all time that I've ever seen. Ezra Edelman did it. O.J. and them OJ had no influence.
No.
He had no say.
Which was problematic.
It was unauthorized.
But I'll let you finish. Okay.
It was unauthorized. But you can imagine what an O.J. Simpson doc of himself would have been like. And I would just say that, like, LeBron's doc is not going to be O.J.'s doc. It's not. It's going to be quite the opposite.
It's interesting you bring up the OJ documentary because Teray Reed and I had long conversations about that because we both have similar feelings about it. I didn't necessarily dig it, mainly because it is to a degree ahistorical. First and foremost, OJ Simpson, and trying to paint him as this kind of white man's black guy doesn't really put him in the correct historical light. OJ Simpson was kind of the personification of the civil rights movement's dream. That's why O.J. Simpson graced the cover of Jet and Ebony magazine consistently with his black family. And if you watch the whole clip where O.J. Simpson says the thing, "I'm not black, I'm O.J.," he does go on to say, "I'm a black man." But what he was, I don't want to say upset about, but what he was talking about was these people asking him to potentially risk his future earnings. And he wasn't a track star. He's like, "I'm a football player. So this track shit, I run track, but not really what I do."
Yeah,
so,
sure.
to take that out of context the way it is, he's kind of immortalized for a lot of people in that off context. Or there's a whole Jay-Z song about it.
Yeah, I think the Jay-Z thing is kind of I don't know. I think if you watch the doc, the OJ thing came not to you. I'm just saying, like, just the general person. If you watched it, I think that OJ moment was instructive. It's just like, but I think but at the same time, he's right. And I think the acquittal makes the point.
Mhm.
It's like, I got money. Like,
Money I got.
I'm not a normal Negro.
No, they're not. I get that. I get that aspect.
Like,
of it.
Don't put me with the shit that the niggas in the Jacks is doing. Like, I'm OJ, bro. Like, stop it.
Well, I think Kanye is definitely like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if OJ was like that, because I think OJ liked being, again, the personification of
Black excellence.
He was black excellence, and then
Black excellence before that term even existed. But yeah, OJ Simpson, which we don't need to get into this, but like, if we could transport the people of today who espouse black excellence ideology to 1978, they'd be pointing at OJ Simpson and calling him
all day long
black excellence.
His family,
100%.
He had the hottest black wife, right? He had the gorgeous black kids with the good hair. It was never an Afro Sheen commercials, nigga. Please, it was a big commercial. But that was OJ Simpson, and there's something about the athlete post the aughts. Right, because the aughts is when especially basketball starts to get this bad rap. I think the aughts is when they get the dress code, or is that the late 90s when they get the dress code? Because
the dress code comes in the aughts.
The aughts, right? So the athletes of the aughts, we talking about practice. For some reason, it's great fodder for sports media, which is, look at these hooligans playing basketball with tattoos. Because there's a lot of cultural changes happening in the late 90s and the aughts. First of all, black people getting tattoos is a relatively new thing if you weren't in prison or a goddamn sailor. So that taking off and becoming kind of pop culture, it took the NBA, it took sports in general a long time to really warm up to that, because there's nothing you can cover it up with like football and baseball. Also around the aughts, we're having the kind of disintegration of the black baseball player, or the black American baseball player, I should say.
I know black are Dominican.
Right, like all the Afro-Cubans and stuff playing.
Yep.
So the NBA is really where people are going to put their focus and kind of their ire at a lot of these athletes that they're going to deem quote unquote thuggish. And then in the 2010s, you get this very brand conscious athlete. And I think it has a lot to do with what you're saying about social media playing such a huge role. And now we're going to get something extremely different. And I would love to ask you about this while I have you here, which is the NIL athlete. And I think we're seeing that with a guy like Shador Sanders and Caleb Williams. Now, these are two guys that come out with some interesting red flags that are not play oriented. Caleb Williams is supposed to be too sensitive, and he paints his nails, and he won't be able to lead a locker room. Now, how much of that has to do with the fact that this dude came into the league as a millionaire, very confident millionaire with kind of an amazing skill set? I don't know how much USC football you watch, but Caleb Williams.
No, he was a killer.
Man amongst boys.
Escapability, arm strength, everything.
Pocket poise. And he's going to be good in Chicago.
I think so too.
Give him time. Shador Sanders, to me, and we talked about this on the show, very similar athlete, but I've never seen or heard, rather, because I'm listening to this most of the time, sports media condemn an athlete. And both of these kids have grown up in a certain amount of privilege. So to call them anything other than spoiled brats, maybe, I don't get it. Shador got all this crap at the combine. I think he had his hat backwards during an interview, and they were calling him a thug, this, that, and the third. It's like, how many white men do you encounter from Riverside with their hats backwards and fucking Oakley sunglasses on? This is not something that's out of the realm of normal. And Shador Sanders has only known extreme privilege. His father wasn't just a good football player. The motherfucker was an all-star baseball player as well. Those
So
kids grew up in the lap of luxury. So why are we talking about them like they're thugs?
I think Shador is not. I think the rap that he's getting, it's it's always going to be some of the similar tropes because it's all goes back to anytime somebody doesn't conform to the rigidity of NFL culture,
Mhm.
they're going to buck up against a backlash. I think Shador's backlash is less thug driven and more literally privilege driven. Like people are basically saying he's a diva. People are saying that he's not there's some of the stuff like Mina Kimes, who's a homie of mine, and she talked about some of the stuff she's talked to around, teams that have been around the Shador thing, where it's like he showed up to the interview not eager to impress, right? Which I
Mhm.
think what they're saying, honestly, Jason, is
Mhm.
I don't want to say he's not uppity Negro isn't right. It's just like he's his daddy's son,
But I mean,
basically,
can we
without
admit
having
this
achieved the Dion stuff.
but no one understands, and I don't think they can truly contemplate that a guy like Cam Ward stayed in college an extra year and made an extra $2 million.
Right.
That was unheard of 5 years ago.
Yeah.
5 years ago, look at the league. There's guys in college right now that are the same age as 5 and 6 year pros. So people stayed in school for injury reasons, whatever, but still, they didn't have to come out, get drafted in the later rounds, and struggle to make it. Cam Ward is going to be a first-round draft pick because he stayed in school, bounced around a bunch, made more money staying in school, and is gonna top out. Even if he doesn't pan out in the league, he's gonna make a bunch of money. And it made sense for him to stay in school. He has more bargaining chips. They've never had to deal with athletes coming in the game
That's it.
as millionaires.
Yes.
So everything, not just millionaires. Sorry if I get so animated about this.
No, I
These
love it.
kids understand marketing, and they don't look at the NFL anymore as the pinnacle of where they want to be. The Super Bowl means nothing. This is just another step, another rung in my marketing ladder to get me to where I make the documentary series about me, and I don't have to be a Super Bowl champion. I don't have to win NBA championships because Netflix does stuff on anybody. Dat Nguyen is getting a Netflix special about himself, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't to clown on Dat. He was a bad some bitch. But my point is, you're dealing with a whole different type of athlete that is definitely made for neoliberalism. This is what neoliberalism gives you, right? You want to talk about
the
me
supremacy of the market. Yeah,
they
100%.
understand. So to say, oh, Shador came up not interested. Fuck yeah. If I'm Shador Sanders, I don't want to go to New York. There's nothing good that can happen to me in New York. You know where something good can happen to me? Las Vegas. I can go to Las Vegas and do good. Maybe I can go to Tennessee and do all right. But if I go to New York, Jets or Giants, it's a wrap for me. There's too many people talking crap. It's never going to work out. You got an owner in the New York Jets that listens to his grandkids' Madden ratings. New York Giants over here haven't gotten right in almost 20 years. Send me to Vegas, or at least Gino will talk to me. Right? Gino will help me. Send me to Tennessee. Mayonnaise boy is not going to stop me from playing, but I'd be a douche in those meetings too.
Yeah, and to be fair, man, I honestly think these scouts, GM types they're just having a hard time with this adjustment period. Eventually, this process is going to get ironed out. Like getting used to the money that they're making in college is going to get ironed out. Like the NFL, man, like it's inevitable. Like they are going to impose their will on the process, but I think there is going to be a little bit more give because again, if you understand that, like, and Bomani Jones talks about this all the time, that like if I don't know, Cam Ward. Let's just say Cam Ward because he did so much at Miami. Like he's gonna be able to locally trade on his name forever. Name another, not even a Cam Ward type, somebody who didn't transfer at some major university. They're going to be able to trade on their name in that town, in that region forever. Right. And, I think kids are just going to have a better understanding about financially what's out there for them. But at the same time, Jason, like, I don't see how you look at, Josh Allen getting $250 million guaranteed and say, man, I want to one day do that.
And you know what Josh Allen's never done? Won an AFC championship.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't even say a Super Bowl. I said an AFC championship.
For sure. But again, like
he may never.
That's what the NFL is promising to these kids. Like, yeah, 2 million is nice, but you know what is better than 2 million? 250 million.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta and look, maybe these kids ball out for it. I don't know, but I do know this. Shador could have came out last year and been a first round pick.
Yes, I think he would have been a first rounder. Yeah,
I feel
maybe a late first rounder, but he would have been a first rounder.
I'm not sold on Cam Ward.
Sure.
I think him playing at Miami, there's a lot of things that happen at that team. You watch me like, yeah, you guys beat up on some okay teams, but even the bad teams, like Cal should not have taken you to the last second to come back. I forget how many they came back from with Cal. And then there was like some questionable calls at the end of that game too. Like I just not really sold on him compared to
he's a cowboy. That's been the kind of rap on him. He's a cowboy.
Like Dallas Cowboy?
No, like Wyatt Earp or whatever. Like he will do some crazy shit just for the fun of it.
We'll see what happens
in the test the limits.
We'll see what happens in the league, right? But ultimately, I think with all sports, we're seeing these young athletes have a lot more power at the negotiating table, and they're coming in the door, and it's a winner for the teams. Especially when they like we talk about Caitlin Clark quite a bit on the show. She is just not made for marketing, right? She doesn't care. And I get it. She just wants to play ball. She literally just wants to play ball. Juju, kind of made for marketing.
Sure.
The league can't wait for her. A team can't wait for her. Everybody wins. Not only are you going to get people coming to see the game, you're going to be selling a bunch of jerseys. McDonald's can't wait till she comes out. They're going to be selling the Juju meal, right? She is marketing crack.
I mean, I think Caitlin Clark is pretty fucking marketable. I don't think she's made herself into a marketing, machine. It's just the shit that's around her, like this little white girl kicking all these black chicks' asses and being from Iowa and shooting all these crazy threes, and like that has its own appeal. Whether she leans into it or not, like you don't really have to do a lot. Like I think the numbers and the popularity like kind of speak for themselves. Like these records have been broken because people are compelled to watch her. And what I think is interesting about Caitlin Clark, to be honest, man, and in this context, like you said, she doesn't feed into it. She's not doing the social justice shit. She's not. Yeah. She's trying everything to stay out of it. Is that people love this chick for her game? Like, let's face it, she's not fucking Anna Kournikova, bro. She's not. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. And I think that's the coolest part about her success. You can't chalk this up to, people just like looking at her because she's hot or blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying she's ugly. I'm just saying there were people in the past when we complained about Kournikova, when we complained about, man, what's the Russian chick that was making more money off the court than Serena?
I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think of her name.
I forget her freaking name. We were complaining, well, Serena doesn't get as much endorsement money. What the hell? No. We used to complain about that. Caitlin Clark ain't got none of that shit. People just Sharapova. Yes, killing Serena on the marketing side. People were complaining about it. Like Caitlin Clark just shows up, taking threes like Steph Curry, and gains this fucking massive following. I'm not ashamed to say it. I was rooting for her in both national championships, the final semifinals game. I rooted against the Negroes. I like watching her hoop. I'm not.
She's
ashamed
really
to say
good.
that.
She's really good.
Really good, man.
I
She's
think
fun to watch.
the whole her and I can't think of the other black girl's name. Angel Reese.
Angel Reese, yeah.
It's a magic bird thing, right?
Yes.
It's a race thing,
Which we need to embrace, by the way.
I don't.
Why are we
mind it.
shying away from the race war?
I don't mind. I think the whole thing is fun,
It's been selling sports for 200 years, guys.
but it's the thing that's making the WNBA must-see TV
Yes.
over the NBA because she's a white American.
Yes. Yes.
It's what the NBA, it's what baseball, it's what all this shit's been missing, right?
Jason,
It's a white.
Timothy Connerson said, "How dare you hand in your black card at once, Woz? How dare you? I'm sorry." My guy Dominique, who does a great football show for ESPN, great guy. He was like talking about how he was watching the game with his wife and his kids, and he ain't want to let the cat out the bag that he was rooting for Caitlin Clark.
Why?
He has a wife and a daughter. You know, the black girl.
Hey,
you
Woz,
didn't want to tell the black girl.
tell him this. I am a Denver Bronco fan, and I have been a Denver Bronco fan since 1986. When the Denver Broncos played the Washington Redskins and that big lick coon, Doug Williams came in the game, I turned into Uncle Ruckus. And every time Doug Williams is brought up, I turn into Uncle Ruckus. So if that half illiterate nigga wants to get on the field again, I'll shoot his ass.
You're crazy.
I feel no shame. I've met other black Bronco fans, and they'll look at you and be like, "You remember '89 and you or '88?" You say, "Yeah," and they're like, "Fuck Doug Williams." So we have a hate. Doug Williams, he's the first black quarterback to piss me off, is what he is. Fuck him. Give a good goddamn about that nigga.
Too good. Yeah, I was rooting hard for Caitlin. Love her game.
So yeah, tell. Oh, also, since we're talking about sports drama, what's old girl's name? What's his name? Sister. They got all up in the sex shit with dude try to pay her $1 million to bang.
Oh, Joy Taylor.
Did you ever know her?
I've met her a couple of times out here in LA.
Is she fine in real life?
Yeah, she's an attractive woman. Absolutely.
I don't think $1 million, but I mean, I'd be like, I'll empty the checking account. Like,
I'm not doing this with you, Jason. I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing
I
this
watched
with
that. I said, I went down the rabbit hole. I saw that story. I had no idea. I was like, oh, Jason Taylor got a sister. I just assumed she looked like him. But I forgot. Oh, it's kind of a pretty boy. And
I'm not doing this.
Like,
here's what I will say about Joy Taylor. All the shit people was talking about on the internet. Go watch her show. She knows what the fuck she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. She's actually talented at the job. And so like people can say whatever they want. I think she's actually good at what she does. And I think she's better than a lot of people on TV who aren't alleged to have whatever. Like I think she more than earned her spot. That's all I'll say about that. And here's another thing that I'll say. I don't know the truth about Joy Taylor or any of that stuff, but I have no problem saying this in public because we got to be real. In our industry, the attractive people tend to sleep with each other. Y'all do with that what y'all will. Just like in real life, the most attractive people, the people who are seen as the most desired by the public, tend to sleep with each other. That happens.
That happens.
It's real life.
Look, it's foolish to think that she's going to be walking around there.
Oh my God! Don't
Jason Whitlock.
Don't Jason Whitlock. Whitlock is sick in the head.
I thought to myself, Negro, please.
Like, I promise you guys, like in real life, because this is a part like people in my profession don't like to talk about, like what goes on with the players and blah blah blah. Like, bruh, in real life, everybody knows that players and coaches and GMs and whoever, you name it, people in the industry end up becoming intimate with each other. It is what it is, bro. Like, I don't know why this now, the specific shit that they were doing at Fox where they're alleging that, like, such and such did this with this. I don't know. I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
And from the things that I have firsthand knowledge of, 9s out of 10s, no favors are being exchanged. It's just attractive people being attracted to each other. It is what it is.
Now, if I'm lucky, I'll go to LA and run into any of these people. I'll be so excited.
It's not. I'm telling you, Jason, it's not as difficult as you would think. That's the thing about LA. It is not difficult to run into prominent people at all.
If you're
in New York, you can't get into none of the spots important people are at. It's not happening. Not only can you not get in, you've never heard of the places these people are going. It's not like you can't even try to get in. You've never heard of the places that prominent, famous, whatever people frequent. In LA, man, it is not hard to run into these people.
I know I don't have you for much longer, and I know you're sitting here going, Jason's gonna fuck up my reputation with everybody.
No, we're good, man.
You're like, no, they don't watch this shit.
Even if they did, I didn't say anything out of pocket. I promise.
No.
I didn't say anything that people don't already know, bro. They know.
You'd be surprised what people say and don't say.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's honest about their hate for Doug Williams if you're a Bronco fan.
I understand that.
And it's racial for me. It is racial hate.
Are you a self-hating Negro?
No, I just hate that nigga. I love everybody. Like had they kept Jay Schrader in that game, man, it would have been a whole different life. I wouldn't have got teased so bad.
It's funny as hell.
Every time February comes around, here comes fucking Doug Williams. That's all people care about with Black history is firsts, right? And accomplishments. They don't care about anything else. The arc of his fuck your arc. You just care about firsts. Pieces of shit. It's just trivia. But seriously, Kendrick Lamar, your friend, performed at the Super Bowl. And when he performed at the Super Bowl, everybody lost their mind. Now, I was in LA watching the Super Bowl, left for the halftime show to another place, was on a date. And
ooh, I like that.
Right?
A date on Super Bowl Sunday. You a different type of nigga, man.
Right? See? Hey, when you're free, let's watch the Super Bowl. Let's watch Super Bowl in West Hollywood. That was a wild day. So I caught the halftime show, like all of it at home when I came back to Mexico. And I thought to myself, this is pretty cool. And then when I first heard the They Not Like Us song, I can't remember if I told Toussaint. I was telling somebody else, I think it was Toussaint. I was like, this is going to be every PTA song, every Little League, every Christian bake sale. Like that hook was, I feel like they tested it in a room. Which one works better? And it resonates. So I knew that once he did that song, everything was going to go crazy. But I don't think that his performance, or like any performance, is going to be some revolutionary thing that's going to cause people to stand up and power. Why do so many people want to hang their hat on the fact that Kendrick Lamar is some sort of revolutionary force in music, and B, why are we still looking at hip hop as if it's a revolutionary force in music?
There's a couple of things. I think prominent Black people want to believe in the power of their prominence and the prominence of other Blacks. And so, like, all of the gatekeepers, tastemakers, front-facing people, they want to believe that there's something to a Kendrick Lamar halftime show that isn't just that. A Kendrick Lamar halftime show at the Super Bowl. Like, they really desperately want to divine more meaning from that. And so that's why you get the platitudes that you get. I mean, like, I don't want to negotiate. I don't want to fucking prosecute Kendrick's politics because they're all over the place. I'll just say about the halftime show, like a lot of the beef with Drake, it's just to put my cards on the table. I'm one of the biggest Drake fans in media, right? And I have been.
Okay.
So, like, just so people know, right? So a lot of the stuff with Drake was like, you're Canadian and weird. And yeah, that was like a lot of the stuff. Like, you're Canadian and weird, and you're not American. You're not American. He was like leaning into the American of it all. Like, that's why his show was like his comeback show was on Juneteenth. And the video came out on July 4th. And the Super Bowl, it's like, you know, Americana. The whole thing was like this Americana thing that he deployed to sort of otherize Drake, to use a term that I fucking hate. So then at the halftime show, it's like, well, that's kind of in conflict with Black Negro life. We don't flag wave. That's like against the rules as an elite. You know it's true, Jason. Like, it's against the rules to be an elite Negro, to be a Negro who is quote unquote conscious to flag wave.
Mhm.
Like, we know that. Like, that's in tension with his sort of station as a prominent conscious Negro. If people who follow the Beyonce thing, she got a lot of backlash for having a lot of Americana sort of iconography with the Cowboy Carter album.
Mhm.
Like, that goes against what a lot of people, like, just prominent.
Well,
Negroes just
can I ask you this though? And I haven't heard anybody say this, and this is really, you bring this up, and I'm asking this question because I literally don't know the answer. Is it because this idea of Black music being only sold to Black people, which are a small segment of the population, are these people really trying to hit a much larger percentage of the population? Because there's a lot of times when you do Black shit, you're cut off unless you do it in a coonish way. I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm trying to say. Eddie Murphy makes these 2 back-to-back movies, Coming to America and Boomerang. You are a Black man. You've probably seen both of them.
I've seen
and
both.
You probably hold Boomerang in a certain high regard.
I don't. I saw Boomerang late in life. I thought it was
Wow. I'm going to go drive to LA and shake the shit out of you. But
it's extremely overrated. And I think the reasons, whatever, we could get into that on another show.
We don't
That's
have
a
to be
different show,
critics.
yeah.
But the point is that
Coming to America spoke to the Black immigrant Negro experience, so
But
the Haitian in me liked it.
and it also has a lot of tropish behavior.
Sure.
That doesn't exist in Boomerang.
Sure.
There's no Cooney shit going on there, right? There's no trifling Negroes. There's no scheming Negroes. All that shit you get in Coming to America, and I know so many people that watch that. Boomerang, not so much. So Black media sits in a certain place for most Americans. Beyonce kind of has transcended, but is she really Madonna? You know, for America. So for her to do the country record, she's telling you, no, I'm not really Madonna. Not like you think I'm Madonna, but I'm not really Madonna, because Taylor Swift hasn't been around as long as me, and she's outselling me. So she embraces Americana. Is this a thing that these cats feel they have to embrace to truly make that fuck you money?
I think Beyonce is the fuck you money is, she's out of here money wise. Like, I think Beyonce truly does care about art in a way that is like less cynical than a lot of these big artists. I think she's really into that. I think Cowboy Carter was just it was like, how many times can you express your music in a different way? I think Beyonce and Kenny are doing 2 different things. I think like Kenny's been a mainstream rap artist since he came out. He's never been underground. Like, he signed to Dr. Dre, he signed to Interscope. Like, he went #1 his first time out. He's been going #1 the whole time. He's been backed by Universal Records his entire career. Like, he's never been some niche thing. He wasn't as big as Drake. He wasn't as big as Eminem. You know, sure, whatever. But that does, like, there's such a like a wide gulf in between that, to occupy that is like still an extremely pop artist. You don't get recognized by the Grammys. Okay, I think this year, like he's got 23 Grammys. Like this dude has never been anything but mainstream, right? So I don't think he was like trying to chase some mainstream. I think he utilized something to win a public spat with Drake. And then when he's like, I'm making my big statement, his big statement has to critique America. Even though he used it as a shield before, like he can't do those two things are in tension with each other. And I think Kendrick is conscious enough to know that like the people who are into his music are going to expect him to do something blackety black. And so he went out and did that. And I like the politics. I don't know why you think you could divine America's like has been unfair to black people in his existence. Like that's uncontroversial. Like that doesn't challenge any, like I don't even know how that becomes some crazy thing. You know what I mean?
He's popular, but I would raise you this. Really, until that They Not Like Us, he's not popular in the same way that the Drakes are popular.
He is now.
He is like everything changed. That was a first of all, the battle was great. I loved it. Loved every minute of it. I wished it would have happened like that when I was a kid. We had to wait weeks, months for the response to the thing, right? And that's why that stuff was drawn out for so long. The responses took so long. These guys were doing it, in real time, and it was great. I think that's a real game changer for him to be a true pop culture icon and not just a hip hop icon. I think those two things are very different, right? Like Kanye is a pop culture icon because he says crazy shit. He just said, at this point, it's not for music. It's just this crazy shit he says. And his relationships, right? He did for hip hop what people like Tommy Lee did for rock and roll. I'm going to marry a movie star or a popular person, right? Pamela Anderson. Then we're going to fuck on tape. We're going to do all the shit so I can stay in the public eye. And we're going to be very popular. Kanye did that for hip hop, and I can't think of anybody else who did that for hip hop.
Who was black? Nobody. Eminem definitely.
Eminem can't even do that. He didn't. He's he sits in a certain place too because, right? He doesn't do party music. You can't dance to Eminem.
Yeah, I think that's the thing though about Kenny's career, and the sort of the discourse. That's the word I'm using for the discourse. It's like there's this idea that what Drake was doing, what people I guess like Drake were doing by making records that play in nightclubs and strip clubs and that play on the radio. But Kenny always had great radio records, so I don't even know how that became a thing. But whatever.
Yeah.
It was this idea that Kenny was doing something more artistic or real or whatever. I don't know. Whatever the case you want to make it. But the thing is, like, all of these things that Kenny sort of felt like he was bigger than or better than, it's like what he's doing now. Like having a number one that gets you to the Super Bowl, like it's like, oh, this is cool. Like having 4 songs that play at parties. Oh, this is cool. Like this dude literally with this album, big, West Coast sound. Like you can go listen to all of his previous work. Kendrick purposely never did none of this shit. He never made like YG Mustard type of music. He purposely avoided that. And this album is just laden with it. It's like he's come to terms with the idea that it's like there's nothing wrong with making songs that like a lot of people like. You know what I'm saying?
Is that embracing this idea of like his authenticity, his hood California authenticity with the Debbie Deb sample? I'm not gonna lie, the beat is hard, but
I think it's Not Like Us again is like the first Kendrick song, dude, that you could say is like so explicitly Los Angeles sound, and it won overwhelmingly. And like, he's like getting credit for uniting the coast from here to the
Yeah.
fucking Bay. So the idea that he's not going to embrace this win and come out with a like, it would have been pretty subversive to be like, all right, I'm going to drop that and just go back to doing what I've done my whole career, which is make like, this like
Artie,
very, yes.
This Artie hit. Look, this is how I look at that guy. He made this music that's very derivative. We've been making this I've been on this fucking kick, Waz, where I'm listening to contemporary music and I'm going back and listening to this probably music you grew up listening to in your house, right? Like 80s, 70s. Some people call it yacht rock. I call it what it really is, adult contemporary music. And if you go back in the 90s and listen to what hip hop sounded like from, this is called the golden era, and you listen to a Kendrick Lamar, there's really no difference. If you got in the DeLorean like Michael J. Fox and went back to 1995, there's not that much stuff that's going to change for you. Once hip hop took over and it was the dominant black art form, this is how all you people are going to sound. This is all you people's music. Everything is about youth. Fuck marketing to adults. This is just what you are. You're going to be like, yeah, 98, 95 sure does sound like fucking 2025. There's not much difference. But I think that was even kind of running its course for him to a certain degree. And this was just the next phase. I mean, he even had rappers, because the internet was a thing, but it wasn't a thing like it is now. And he even put rappers on his album. I believe Lefty Gunplay is on his album, who is trash. I feel very comfortable saying this. Like, that poor kid is strung out on meth. Whoever is getting him out there, you're a horrible person for putting that poor kid out there. He's like 30 years old still. He's trash. And you're doing it like, why do you have to do a song with this person? You're doing a song with that person because it gives you a certain amount of validity. You're damn near 40 years old, working with a person that's really resonating with the young crowd. And I don't know why, but I get that move to a certain extent. I just I find the whole talk around him very interesting. Whether you hate him or you love him, I always just sit back and go, why do you care this much about a guy because he played at the Super Bowl?
Well, but Jason, like, the reason they care is like he's courted that kind of attention though.
Okay.
Like, I don't think Kenny's never said like, yo, I'm a freedom fighter, but he's always said my music is important. Like, the way I approach what I'm doing, I take very seriously. That's always been the message that he sent to the public. He never, ever, ever, ever was like, I'm a freedom fighter, ever. I think a lot of people projected that onto him. But he always wanted people to think like my music is Pulitzer worthy, right? And
I agree 100% with that, 100%.
And that's what I thought was just, that's my only problem with the Kendrick narrative. It's not like whatever people politicizing his music, like people could do whatever the fuck they want. I don't think Kendrick really has a politics in his music besides like America bad for blacks. Cool. Like
great.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Kenny's ever challenged any power structure. He's never been overtly political in his music. That's just, really. And I don't expect him to be. I don't expect this dude to be fucking W.E.B. Du Bois in his music, right? But like this idea that Kenny was this little engine that could, as if he hasn't been embraced by the establishment and like lifted up at every single turn. Like like nobody has more Grammys. Nobody's been more exalted. Nobody's been more praised. Like go look up New York Times Kendrick Lamar. Go read everything they've ever put out about Kendrick.
But but I guess that's what I'm saying. He seems like the Obama of rap.
I wouldn't look. I'm not a Kenny fan. I wouldn't put Obama quite on him, but he's of the Obama era though.
Yes.
He's a product of that time.
Yes.
He's
the realization of Obama's dream of hope.
Yes. And I think something about his story resonates with the Obama voter, right? Like the Obama enthusiast, not the Obama voter, but like the person who's really into the idea that this black guy named Barack would become the president of America where Negroes were once slaves and all of that shit, right? I think there's something too, like Kenny's story is like, it's not just that he's black, he's from Compton. You doesn't get more Negro than that. Jason.
That's the thing. He's like adjacent to like him. And what's the other guy? He's got a regular name. Can't think of his name.
Vince
Rapper.
Staples?
There you go. Those guys do this thing where they're adjacent to stuff, and therefore they get to be like spokespeople for the hood, which I find interesting.
Sure.
And I don't. There was a moment when I first heard Vince Staples, I was like, I really like this kid. And then I started seeing him in interviews. I'm like, someone needs to put the fucking shot collar on him because he says the dumbest shit ever sometimes. Gets away with it all the time. No one ever calls him on his bullshit. And that's what's getting these guys over. They're very comfortable black people. They can be your inner city black tour guide. They can be your black cultural tour guides, but they're not frightening.
And again, I'm not like Kenny is not some whatever, like he's not Braxton from Jamie Foxx show, but a big part of the messaging, a big part of the marketing of Kendrick Lamar is that yes, he's from Compton, but he's nothing like The Game or YG. He's not that.
No.
You guys have gotten Eazy-E. You guys have gotten The Game. You guys have gotten YG. You guys have gotten all of these certain type of Compton rap artists, right? Like you've gotten a bunch of those guys already. Like Kenny he's from there, so he's still got that credibility, but he's of a different mold. And that's always been the thing with Kenny. Mm-hmm. Like it's always been like, no, he's like this artistic person from Compton. No, he's like this thinker. No, he's not the poster child for Compton music that came before. And he very self-consciously pushed that. And I think it's true. Like, I don't even think it's like I think it's true. I think that there is a major difference to how he approaches music to how The Game did, basically 5-6 years before him. Right. And so, I think there's I don't think he's like putting on airs, but I do think like the Obama era is this idea that is like, no, like there's this newer version of the Negro that we could push. Right. Like there's a new Compton Negro, like there's just a new way of projecting the greatest amongst the Negro populations. And also New York Times, they know they have to be right there front and center supporting that. You know what I mean? Like that, like they're not going to support The Game and watch.
No, he never, but that's the thing. There's these moments where rappers get a lot of media attention because they're just the hottest thing out. So you have to kind of project onto them that they're more important and deeper than they are, right? Snoop Dogg is a perfect example of that. I'm sure reporters still to this day are like, man, we sure are glad that Kurt Cobain guy came around because we were tired of writing about this Negro. But how important his lifestyle rap was. But Kendrick, I agree with everything you're saying, that Kendrick Lamar to me is if OJ is the embodiment of a certain aspect of the civil rights movement, right? Kendrick Lamar, we have to admit that he's an embodiment. I'm not saying he sat in a lab and tried to be this person, because I think he comes out before Obama's in office. Doesn't his first thing come before 08?
He doesn't become prominent before that, though.
Oh, he doesn't. No. But anyway, my point is that he's kind of the embodiment of this idea of a post-racial hope and change America. Like this idea of him uniting gangs, I thought was kind of like, I mean, this is fucking 2025, dude. It's not 1985.
The gangs. I think one of the beefs though in Compton between like a rival set, they did piece up one thing. So I'll give him credit for that. Like, but of course, like LA is just this freaking.
You know why it's not the same? First of all, Kendrick, where's the fucking crack at?
Well,
There ain't no nigga on the street dealing more drugs than CVS and Walgreens, so you can get fucked. You know, so that shit's just not. There's not there.
Yeah,
It's not there. Go if you think I'm bullshitting, go look at death rates. Go look at them from, I don't know, 86 to 94, but LA still was popping off. So go look from like 86 to 2000, and then go look from 2000 to 225. LA is not what it was. Compton is not what it was. South Central is not what it was. Most of these cities that we're naming, Oakland, have declining black populations. The city I am from, Richmond, California, greatest city in America, was about 40% black when I was coming up in the 90s.
I mean,
It is 17% black in 2025. And the majority of the city does not speak English. Kendrick didn't do shit but have a good ass party. That's okay to say. Just say it. Quit acting like
I think the
free to
saying
play.
otherwise is just crazy to me. Like saying otherwise is absurd. But again, like I think the things that was like the and another thing, and again, this is why I declared my Drake fandom beforehand, right? Like, because I don't want people to say, "Oh, you biased" and all of this shit. Like, you gotta understand that, like the rap apparatus, meaning the radio stations, the people that are executives at Apple and Spotify, the black people, that is the black gatekeeping apparatus, like they have always been suspicious of Drizzy Drake. They've always found him to be a curiosity. They've always found something. They never liked this kid. They never liked him ever. Like the success became what it was. And it's like, all right, man, we kind of grin and bear this shit. But they never were on board. I remember like one of the biggest critiques of Drake's music, like going back to 2015, 16, 17, like after he'd had like a decent amount of success, one of the critiques, like people would turn on the album and be like, what is this guy so fucking morose for? What is he still complaining about? Blah, 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 blah. Why is Drake so sad? Why is Drake like, bro, this is it. Like, don't you see the fucking glee with which these people, they felt so relieved. They felt so happy. It's like, hell yeah, kill that motherfucker and call him a pedophile to boot. We love this shit. Like, never underestimate the power of petty grievance too. Like, that's why it feels like that. Like, that's why it feels so universal and just like, there's no other side of it. There's no critique. There's no nothing. It's like Kenny is perfect. Drake deserves all of this. We're happy. It's been 15 years of this shit. We've been tired of it. And like, you know, and then, you know, which leads to like Drake is dead and blah, 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 and all of that. Like Drake is cursed and all of that. But like, never forget the power of petty grievance. Like these people have always disliked this dude because all of the things that Kendrick dissed him about. Oh, you're Canadian, you're half white. Oh, you used to act. Oh, where's your white Canadian accent? And blah, 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 blah. And like Kenny so perfectly sliding into the ideal of what a rapper should be, where he should be from, what blackness should be. Kenny exemplifying that.
Back to the Obama thing, right?
You know what I'm saying? Kenny like exemplifying that. And so like that's part of it too. Like the apparatus, when Jay-Z is up there clapping at the Grammys, like hell yeah. And him being the one that gave Kenny the Super Bowl gig. Like the culture, the infrastructure has disliked this dude for a minute. You know what I mean?
Look, if you're popular for a long time,
yes, it's people.
Your life is gonna look. Michael Jackson, for decades, could walk on water in the black community. Then 1982 happens, and he could walk on water all over the world. Then like 93 happens, and that nigga has been a punchline and a joke for the last 30 plus years.
Yep.
So you stay on top long enough, you will fall.
So I see Nuri Yank say, so blackness is only relevant. Well, again, like
we're talking about the United States, man. Quit. Don't reply to that.
No,
we're talking about the United States.
No, it's not about that. I just want to say, like, just about the sort of cultural apparatus, because that's important in a different sense. Like the whole thing was like, you know, you're white, you're fake, you're Jewish, you're not black, blah 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 blah. That was like we did that the whole summer. Donald Trump shows up to NABJ.
Mhm.
It says the exact same shit about Kamala Harris, who has
Yep.
roots in Montreal,
Yep.
who is half Indian, who grew up with her Indian mom, all of that stuff. And the same exact people who were loving the Drake narrative were like, wait, it's what? No, being once you're half, that's enough. Once you're half, that's enough. I watched that Kamala thing happen. I thought that shit was so funny, dude.
But she did black shit. She's an AKA, and she went to
Yeah,
Howard.
that's
You
it.
didn't
If
have
you
to
don't-
go there. And that's like, hey, you know, how many of you niggas went to Howard? Right? They're hemorrhaging money, and it ain't because of me and my Indian mama. So, right? She could just fucking red dot her way out of there. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna talk about black people in diaspora and act as if black American culture isn't very prominent in the lives of other black parts of the world, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, again, the discourse is what it is. I think that the savior stuff, the rap Jesus stuff, like people get caught up in the moment, and so whatever. But you would just hope that like adults who are 40, over 40 would have better perspective, but it is what it is.
I mean, Drake, though, the one thing that you haven't said is that Drake starts on TV first.
Yes.
There's a couple cats that start on TV first. One cat gets shit on the most, and that's Drake. Most Def starts on TV first, too. No one ever shits on him for that.
When was Most Def on TV?
Exactly.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He was in a sitcom with, I'll pull it up. Be interesting for a minute. I'll pull it up.
Like, yeah, I mean, look, man, I love Mos Def. He's a Brooklyn guy. So I'm always gonna have love for Mos Def. I just think I don't know. I really enjoyed what I enjoyed most about the battle is just the sheer wattage of attention and just magnetism. Like this shit just attracted so much attention in ways that I did not know was still possible for rap artists to do, man. Like that's the part that really like shocked me. I thought this thing, the amount of legs that this shit had is what shocked me. And I think again, and I think that's what people are speaking to. Like they just feel so like we can't let go of the energy that was around it. So let's mine it for every single thing that we can. And so that leads people to fucking being like, yo, Kendrick Lamar basically made the most crazy black statement of black art, of black slavery, of black everything ever at the Super Bowl. Sean Hannity didn't like it, so that's proof of it. It's just like, all right, man. I think we've squeezed out all we could out of this thing. Once we're citing Hannity's rap appearance, Hannity's rap opinions as proof that, something subversive happened, like we've completely lost the plot.
This is your boy Mos Def in 1991. Wait, is this him? Wait, I got to make sure this is him because there's a few sitcoms, and he's got these really weird braids. Is that him? Let me make sure. Hold on, let me make sure. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Not only am I strong, I'm pretty.
You want to stay pretty?
Yo, Pop. Thanks. You two are gonna have one sweet time going away together. Me, I'm gonna be cracking the books all weekend.
Raymond, no party.
Mother, you wound me.
I will if you have a party in this house.
Come on, Spunk and the Big P had a party while their parents were away. You're gonna make me lose face?
Which is what the Big P lost when those kids crashed this party.
Had no idea Nell Carter and fucking dude from Magnum PI was in the show with Mos
What
Def.
year is this, Jason?
1991, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah. No one talks about Mos Def being an actor.
A child actor. Yeah. I mean, again, like, the contradictions are what they are. I don't expect, and that's the thing too that I think the audience has a hard time appreciating that, like, the culture industry people all have relationships, if not relations, to the artists and their camps. They all have them. And they've all got like petty grievances, and this one didn't do this for me, and this one blah 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 blah, and this one, might get me beat up in the city that I live in, and this one whatever. So it's another thing to remember, but like nobody would like. That's the thing too. It's like Most Def comes out with Black Star, which is like allegedly, an answer to. Most Def could never be ruined for me, but this is just fascinating. I never knew about this, bro. Never in my life.
Most Def, make sure you don't know about this. You run into Most Def on the street, be like, hey, I saw that show with Nell Carter.
And what's so funny? When he started doing his acting thing after, I remember being so blown away by that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, this nigga got some facility with these lines, boy.
Look at this dude, Mr. Crash. Yeah, Drake was on Degrassi.
Yeah, at least this looks black.
Like a black show.
At least this looks black.
That's fucked up. Said, don't ruin Pharaoh Monch for me. It's look, it is what it is. But again, for the longest time with hip hop, it was all about like I shouldn't say for the longest time. When rap gets this new genre called gangster rap, it becomes all about authenticity. Because before that, these guys were older. The 90s for me, the golden, I don't know if you feel the same way. The golden era of hip hop resonated for me because that's when youth got into hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
These were older dudes doing these songs, rapping about.
Oh yeah, Curtis Blow was old as fuck.
Right? And they're rapping about grown man shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a term we used to say back in the day, and I don't know if this is grown folks music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, something's for it's made for adults. And hip hop is supposed to be like this youth thing. It's an art thing. Hip hop is a lot of different things when it first starts. By the late 80s, early 90s, it really figures out how to market itself and how to market itself properly. And when NWA comes out, I have a friend that says, I think Teray said it on the show. He says he felt like it was D.W. Griffith fucking put it together, which is the guy that made Birth of a Nation, for those that don't know, because he felt like it was just such a perfect encapsulation of how people wanted to view Black people, especially in that era, right? That the Straight Outta Compton drops in 88, 89. So that division really starts this idea that you have to be from a certain place.
Mm-hmm.
If you're from a certain place, you're automatically hard. Now everybody from a ghetto is releasing music. If you're from fucking Flint, Michigan, or East St. Louis, you got to have a rap song, because to be a rapper, you have to be hard. And that's the thing that's changing throughout that golden era, right? De La Soul is going to come out, and their whole thing is we want to end this. I don't want to say boom bap, but this kind of, they call it the death beat era with the gold chains and just the drum machines. We're going to have melody in our music and different kinds of samples that aren't just taking James Brown drum breaks and stuff like that. And it really opens itself up to explore and paint with different colors. I just feel like, I don't know if it paints with those colors anymore.
Yeah, and I would say, man, like, so I came of age. The first rap video I can remember, my brother had taped it on VHS, and we would watch the shit over and over with Scenario. So that I would have been like 6 years old when Scenario came out. That was like the first rap song I remember memorizing. And very soon after that, Biggie came out, and I'm living in Brooklyn at the time. And it's this thing that like nobody in my neighborhood is not fucking like it just took over what people in my part of Brooklyn was doing. Later on, I learned that there was actually people in New York, these miserable backpack people who thought Biggie Smalls wasn't making rap music that was good enough for them. In real time, these people thought Biggie Smalls wasn't good enough. I learned about that after, and they thought Puff was ruining everything and blah, 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 whatever. So I go from Biggie to Jay-Z being my favorite rapper and everything affiliated with that. And like Biggie and Jay-Z is like all part of this same kind of narrative. It's like on my block, I used to sell crack. I used to have all the illest gears. I used to blah blah blah. I used to do this. I was a street person. And that like kind of was what you needed to be for some level of credibility all up and down the sort of success spectrum in rap. That shit all changed with Kanye, man. Like basically Kanye was like, no, I went to college. No, my mom's like a teacher.
Yeah.
No, like the hood dudes at the label at Rockefeller didn't want to fuck with me because I was a square. People in Chicago, a lot of people thought I was a square there too. I don't have a rap name like Mos Def. No, I'm just gonna use my first and last name, Kanye West. I'm gonna rap about working at the Gap. I'm gonna like just like that shit. Everything changed, like literally, like and to the point where it like culminated in that fake sales battle that Universal Records contrived between him and 50 Cent, where it was just like Kanye and 50 Cent, literally the embodiment of like, and I could say this as a nigga from Queens, like 50 Cent literally, literally, literally every single gangster rap trope is actually true about his real fucking life. Like his mom actually got killed when he was 9 years old. He literally started selling crack when he was 13 or 12. He literally had a crew, had a corner, had a block, was running a block when he was like 17, 16. He literally shot at people. He literally went to prison. He literally robbed people. All of these things are actually true. He actually got shot, almost fucking died. Okay, 9 times. These things literally happened to him. And so because he could be all of those things and put a tune together, he becomes this megawatt, which I would say, I think he's the last like actual rap phenomenon, I would say. And, you know, Kanye comes along is just the straight up opposite of that. And I would argue that J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake, all of these guys, Chance the Rapper, Travis Scott, all of these guys flow out of Kid Cudi, all of these people. The only reason they're able to achieve a mainstream acceptance and credibility, bro, is because Kanye came out and was like, no, you could be the most important rapper in the game and not be affiliated with drug dealing, busting your gun, selling crack.
Yeah, you didn't. There was a moment when the 50 Cent comes out and Dr. Claw it's made an interesting point about how regionless it sounded and focus tested almost. If you remember, and I know what's that dude's name that I can't stand with the big afro? Questlove always makes the joke. The snare was the gun. It's true. It's like it's over. You know, you can't get any more hood than that. The snare is the gun. But there's something about Kanye kind of back to this idea of adult contemporary music. Even if you listen to that era of Kanye West, he's embodying a lot of stuff that we were doing in our underground scenes in hip hop, which was really talking about your life from the most realistic perspective. And one of the things that you have to lay out is to be kind of accepted in our world was that you weren't going to shoot anybody. Like this wasn't about shooting fools. Like, that was other people's shit. That was the mainstream thing at the time. If you were killing people, you were on the radio.
Yes.
We were like, we're not killing people. We're trying to have fun. Some of us have money because we work a regular job. Some of us don't have shit, riding in our parents' cars. And he takes that shit and really runs with it. It makes it pop music. And then he gets into a whole different emo realm, which I am not a fan of at all.
I've never been an 808s and Heartbreaks guy. I never will be. I know people whose music opinions I like wholly respect, who swear by it. He just sounds bad singing. And I get it. Like, I'm sorry, the guy sounds bad. Like his voice sounds bad. So it'll never be for me. But yeah, I think Kanye, man, like, I mean, I would say he's the most important rapper of my lifetime.
At least the last 2 years. Who's been
At
famous
least the
that long?
last 25 years.
Who's been
You know,
famous?
I
in
know
hip-hop
people will
that
say
long?
people will say Tupac, and that's fine. And I guess
No.
Tupac came out while I was
No.
alive or whatever.
No.
But like in my
What year are you born?
lifetime,
90?
I'm 87.
He died in 90. You were 10 when he died.
Yeah.
No, Tupac's been dead longer than he's been alive. No, Kanye West. Hate to break it to you people.
He's
Maybe
the
you don't-
most
maybe that's-
important rapper
He's the most
probably
important.
ever.
He's still this motherfucker. I couldn't tell you one Kanye lyric in the last 25 years, but he's still the most important figure in hip hop. He bought a Super Bowl commercial just to sell a swastika shirt because he could. Motherfucker's the most. Why is he still a billionaire?
Yeah.
It's not because of fucking late registration checks. He's getting
No,
in the mail.
man. You know it's crazy, man. The fucking Saudis paid for his last album. That sovereign wealth fund that they're like, you know, they're bringing WWE and MMA events and blah 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 out of that fund. I think they gave him like $100-something million, bro, to come do concerts, to record an album, to blah. Like, it's fucking nuts. Kanye's whole thing is nuts. Like the Kanye stuff. Like, I mean, you talk about a tragic figure. Like, man, tragic figure.
Is it? I mean, he's still like balls deep in hot chicks. He's my age. I think he's a year older than me, and he's like just to the fucking
Jason,
to the bottom, to the taint.
There's more to life than banging hot chicks. Can we agree?
Sure. I'm sure he has conversations with them afterwards. Apparently, he lives with them. I'd love to talk to Kim Kardashian. I'm sure she's very. I think she's rather interesting.
Somebody cut this Negro's mic off. This guy is insane. Bad Lefty said, "Is there?" Guys.
I mean, think about it.
Your
Think
niece
about
and
it.
nephew to the museum, man.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Kanye West, right now, he's out of shape. The motherfucker's got goofy ass gold teeth. He don't talk right. Spits when he talks. Probably has a horrible breath. You know, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's gonna wear rain boots on a hot day. Doesn't fucking matter. It's Kanye West. Goofy as shit. Looks like he rides a short bus. Does not.
And
matter.
the schizophrenic outbreaks, like,
Nah, I don't know how much that's real.
you don't think Kanye's actually off his meds?
I've never.
You think his behavior is not like that of a person who's got like problems?
I've been around people that used to be famous that aren't anymore. It's a whole different world, man. And have massive drug problems. Yeah. I would be.
I don't know what you said. What are you saying?
I'm saying that Kanye West just seems like a cat that, like, you ever been around people that have cults and shit? Like, I'm being totally serious. I'm not even trying to be funny. They're a different type of cat. And I don't necessarily
So you don't think he's actually, you don't think he has problems?
I think it's a problem with drugs.
Okay.
Don't check his pee. Oof.
You think he's doing too much drugs?
I think he's doing crazy drugs you never heard of. I believe that in my soul. I don't want to hang out with Kanye West. I mean, I do and I don't. I do and I don't. Because I know it's like, do you really want to be there? It's midnight, Jay. Maybe we should go home.
Yeah. I mean, people who've, like, the people who I've talked to who've been around it, like, don't seem to think it's an act. They think he's like, it's just,
I've been around cats that are just, they're fucked up. Like,
he's got the problems, and the reason people tolerate it is because he still makes money.
Which is crazy. You can't be that bad off shit, right? And still make money. And
Kanye can.
Who can, you said?
I said Kanye can, apparently.
Yeah, and it's kind of intriguing to watch. That Super Bowl ad blew my mind.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
My mind was fucking blown. I was like, how can you do this in 2025? Yeah, how can you say the thing when he said the thing about his doctor was Jewish at one time? My doctor he was a Jew.
He said, I'm not gonna say the religion of the doctor that he is. He was Jewish. Like,
I fell out. I think he gets to do a couple things that a lot of people don't get to do. Number one, you get to say whatever you want to say and have people say, yes, sir. That I've never been able to say, and you know what, Toussaint? Fuck you and your toothless ass mama. Can't say it. Can't say it. You can't say it where you are. None of us can say it. He can say it, and people are going to laugh it off. You're going to get fired and come back the next day. That's his life. That's been his life again, longer than his life was folding shirts at the Gap.
Yeah, I mean, Kanye put beats on Jay-Z in 2000.
When was the Blueprint? Did he do some stuff on the Blueprint?
Blueprint was 01. The first beat he put on Jay-Z was Can't Be Life on the Dynasty album, which was 2000. And so, like, I think his solo album came out 03.
That's 25. Again, that's 25
years ago.
And I've met people that met him back, or not met. I know people that performed with him when he was still doing club shows. Right? When maybe 200 people show up if you're lucky. And they were like, he was an asshole. We were like, how bad was he? They were like, I was like, give me an example. They were like, nigga, you want an example? I was like, yeah, give me an example. Like, how bad could he be? He goes, and this dude grabs my hat and he goes, Kanye West would take this hat and say, "This is a Kanye West hat, and never in your life, nigga, will you have a hat as good as mine."
That was the shit he was on.
And this was like you said, the 2002 or something like that. This, I think before he had
he went on tour with. He talks about this all the time. He went on tour with Talib. I remember seeing him. Yeah, it probably was 2002. My girlfriend at the time, shouts to Vicky, in high school, she got us tickets to see Kanye and Talib and Common at the Hammerstein Ballroom in Manhattan. Oh my God, this is the thing that I remember the most about the show. I think Common killed it. Whatever, Talib did his thing too. I remember loving Kanye set. I remember he had a part. Where he would just play. He played songs of artists that he really liked. He played D'Angelo Lady. It was like an intermission.
Okay.
And so he played D'Angelo Lady, and then he played an R. Kelly record, which even back in 2002, the sex tape with the young woman had already came out. And people booed it in 2002. And I remember Kanye saying, like, I understand why y'all not fucking with R. Kelly anymore, but he's from my town. And he's a fucking Chicago hero, and you guys would honor a New York City hero just like I'm honoring R. Kelly right now. I'm being blown away by that. Like, in the midst of booze, Kanye was like, fuck that. He was like, fuck that. Like, this guy is a hometown hero.
Does what he wants.
And y'all would give it up to a New York guy just like how I'm giving up to R. Kelly right now. And I was like, yo, this guy he's something. I was a teenager. Right? I was blown away by that shit. I remember those songs. I don't even remember the R. Kelly song, but I know the D'Angelo song was Lady. And I remember everybody's, you're my lady. Everybody's like, oh yeah, my divine, my divine. Everybody was loving it. And then he played the R. Kelly joint. It's like, boo. And Kanye gave the spiel. I was like, yo, this guy is, man, wow.
He says, look, George Bush doesn't like black people. He says what he wants to say.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, your album was great, but you should have really went to Beyonce. All this happened when Bush Jr. was in office. Like, I want you to think about how long ago that was. He has sustained a career and got even more famous.
Yes, he's more famous now than certainly in 05 and whenever Katrina was.
Oh my God. Like, to me, the whole thing with him is fascinating, because how do you do these big public faux pas where everyone's going to blame it on substance abuse or blame it on something? He's had live concerts where he has these weird breakdowns where he cries in front of people.
That was the start of, I was like, oh, Kanye's in trouble.
But he's bigger now after that. Who I can't think of anybody. Remember when Michael Jackson, they took a picture of my penis and my butthole? Remember all that shit?
Oh yeah, when he got arrested and all of that. Yeah.
And you don't get to come back from that shit. You don't get to come back.
And that's the
from
crazy
being
thing about Kanye, man. Like every time he decides he's doing something, people are interested. It's whether it's an album, whether it's a this. I know the sneakers have finally stopped moving.
No,
You know,
didn't Adidas say they sold out of all of them?
No, they said they put out the last of their
Oh, okay,
inventory.
it's the last there. Okay, sorry.
Which is now like, I'm talking about finally. We're talking about Jason. I would say a conservative estimate. This guy's done like 10 billion in sales.
That's what I'm saying.
Fucking sneakers, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
Like 10. I think he's done like 10 billion in sales, bro, all time.
He's this anomaly that has changed celebrity in such a way. And I'm just spitballing here that you would want to be, for example, a right-wing MAGA person influencer if you're a colored person, because Kanye. And not just because Kanye like embraces some of that shit, but because he's just insanely off the cuff. Does he have an ideology? I don't know. I don't think he gives a shit. I remember when he went in the TMZ office and said that goofy shit, and then Van, whatever his name is, you know,
that's my
like,
colleague Van Lathan. That's my guy.
He's like, before you say something wrong,
that's
Van,
my brother. That's my guy.
Tell Van, let's have a black off. You really fucking
you and Van would have a fascinating conversation. Oh,
when that black off, Van. Don't talk to them other niggas.
God.
Here it is right here, Van.
I would pay to watch that. Literally.
Here it is, Van.
Money that I've earned. My Haitian ass, I would put money down to watch y'all motherfuckers have a convo about race in America. Oh, my Lord.
But he is the only person I've ever seen tell Kanye West that you're full of shit.
Yeah,
facts. Full of shit.
Facts.
And said it with his chest.
Facts.
Right? Didn't shake when he said it. Felt very confident in it. I think he was extremely right in his assessment of the bullshit that Negro said. And
slavery wasn't he said that was his kick at the time? Slavery was a choice.
It was a choice, America.
Think about it. They could have no, Kanye, you didn't think about it. They stole these niggas from Liberia, then dropped them in Louisiana. How are they going to figure out where to go? What are you talking about?
It didn't matter. It doesn't. Kanye embraces the moment we're in right now. I'm sure you watched that goofy shit with Sam Cedar and them 20 assholes, right?
I haven't watched it yet, but I
saw the clips.
I've heard Sam embarrass these kids. And I'm like, and part of me is like, are these kids really that dumb? That's the problem with the internet right now. I can't tell if people are dumb or if they're trolling.
It felt like there were a bunch of influencers. And they were influencers.
So they don't know how dumb they actually are.
It doesn't matter. You can get on you know this. How many of those fucking one-sided clips do you see where someone's got a microphone like this and they're saying something that sounds like it's supposed to make sense, and the fucking mood music is playing beneath it, so it's supposed to sound like it makes sense.
Oh my God, yes.
So all you need to do is it's all about feelings. A bunch of years ago, that asshole Shapiro said facts don't care about your feelings, and what he really should have said is no. It's just feelings. Nobody cares about facts.
Facts. Yeah.
Watch the way that watch the little clip where the kid goes, no. If you hire a black person, you get a tax break. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. If that was the case, every nigga in America would have a fucking job.
Would have a fire job.
But you hire a nigger, you get a what? Go to Skid Row, get the whole block. The whole block. There's probably 5 unemployed niggas on here right now watching this show.
No, I remember talking to a buddy of mine, man, like blue collar, white homie, used to be a pretty big Democrat. I don't know what flipped in this guy. He started hating the Dems, and one of the things he cited, he was like, Chinese businesses get a break to move to America, like they get tax incentives, or like China and Chinese immigrants, when they're starting their businesses, like they get some special thing from our government to start their Chinese businesses. I was like, I was like, bruh, that don't even sound right. By the way, I could see like the Chinese government giving people that got small businesses in America money to do that. But our government isn't giving Chinese people
No.
Chinese fast food spot seed money. That doesn't
go
even make
ask
any
a
sense.
Just go to a Chinese person and be like, hey, did you get your China bucks?
They would never do that though.
Did you get your... You know
They
what
would
I
never do
did?
that.
You know what I'm not trying to be funny because I'm a fucking idiot. And I grew up in America and went to your public schools. I thought every Native American got Native American bucks. I thought they got I'm sorry bucks. Thought they got some I'm sorry.
Is that a crazy thought? If you've never known a Native American?
Hey, and then guess what happened? I started touring in places where fucking Native Americans live. And we started playing with them and staying with them and shit, right? And they told me stories about some of that shit. And it blew my fucking mind because the racism that exists in a certain part of America when it comes to Native Americans is so in your face.
Where is this? Is this like South Dakota?
The Dakotas,
Okay, Montana.
Idaho,
Montana's a big spot for that.
I'm telling you, I've never heard people feel so comfortable to say such hateful shit in a public forum around the people they're talking this shit about and feel nothing. And feel nothing because they believed in their hearts. These people are pieces of shit because they all get their fucking native bucks. I can't get my native bucks. Oh, well, maybe they don't get. You ever think about that? They don't get. That's a lie.
That's why we got to universalize these programs, Jason. That's what it comes back to.
It does.
Niggas got to stop begging for reparations and move the hell on. But whatever.
You know, look, first and foremost, if you're going to give me a check, I'll take it. You know, I'm behind on some bills right now. Don't let this Haitian man stop you.
well, that's the thing too. That's the thing that people have said to me online.
Yeah, you're not going to get it, so you don't
care.
You're not going to get it, you don't care. And you should tell them, like, it's the Americas, and don't get mad at me because we won.
Hey,
Wos, be like, it was a choice for y'all.
Yeah, it was a fact. Nobody told y'all to not win your Nat Taylor. What's his name? Nat Turner.
Turner, yeah,
was a failure. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, he wasn't as good as Jean-Jacques Dessalines. God damn it.
Why with a Dessalines
shirt? Should have. Yes, you're right, Timothy. I will seek mine from the French. Went to Paris last summer for the first time, expecting to hate it. Wanted to think it was trash and overrated. Pretty cool fucking city.
You was mad as fuck, though. I know you.
I was annoyed.
God, I know you had to be.
I
mad.
was annoyed by how cool it was. I was annoyed. I was annoyed because so many people that I know have gone to be like, "Oh, Paris is great. Oh, you're gonna love Paris," and I'm like, "What am I gonna fucking love? Give me a break. I'm being, I'm from New York City. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I've been to a sick place before, but then I went and it's like, yeah, it's fucking dope. Paris is dope. Hate to admit it. The hating ass New York nigga in me was just the hating ass Haitian. Oh, I was so pissed.
Got on the plane. He was like, I still want my reparations from them. I still want my money from them. Shit wasn't right. Wasn't right. 150 years, it wasn't right. That's fair. Wos, I don't want to keep you. I've kept you long.
Yeah, man. We've had, this is a nice
dude.
pod.
Hey,
I hope the people love it.
I'm serious about it. Van Lathan is his name, right? I always want to say Van Jones, and I don't want to disrespect that man.
No, Van is the opposite of Van Jones.
Yes,
Van Jones got them Bezos bucks and became a dancing, cooning, tap dancing. And I know I have it on good authority that he's a coon. He's an Uncle Tom and ass, tap dancing ass. He's a coon. Like, I have that on very good authority. I have no qualms saying that. Van Lathan, on the other hand, he's a stand-up Negro.
Well, tell him we should have a conversation. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be streamed. We don't have to stream it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be in LA on Monday. If he's around, we can
Just
meet.
make sure it's about the black experience and black shit. I want y'all to talk about black shit. Because I only talk my black shit to my lady, to Jason on text, to my boys who make fun of me. They call me fake ass Chairman Mao. They like, my boys are just, these guys are well-to-do, upwardly mobile Negroes. Like, they want to see nice things happen to the poor, but they don't really give a shit. It's like, like, we want to see nice things happen. So they make fun of me for having my, political views, but these are the only people I talk to. I don't take my black America thoughts out to walk amongst my cohort. And I'm not ashamed to say, like, the black, white collar, petty bourgeoisie, like, these are my cohort. Like, I do not talk to them about race. I've been at a party where somebody was like, my grandfather told me segregation was better because we had black businesses like Tulsa. And I said nothing. I just zipped it up. I just sat and drank my Hennessy. I didn't do anything, Jason. I don't take my opinions for a walk with you.
You're a better man than me.
I don't do it.
You're a better man than me.
I just want to enjoy the party. I can't. I do it to people that I'm close to. Where I'll see some shit on Instagram, like people throwing a pity party, like black chicks I know, because Joyanne Reed lost her show. I'm like, I see this shit on Instagram, like mad chicks that I follow. Like literally having a funeral for Joyanne Reed's MSNBC show. And I'm like, this woman, she's probably been making 7 figures for over a decade now.
Easy.
Okay, she's rich, best-selling books. She is rich.
Kind of fuck you money rich, yeah.
Fuck you money. She don't gotta she don't have to lift a finger another day in her life, bro. She's straight. And it's like, it's a funeral on my Instagram with these people who have sick music industry jobs. And I'm just like, y'all, this ain't black struggle. God damn. But I just complain. I'll just, I'll send a DM to my girl or to one of my homies like, look at this shit. And just get pissed off. But I won't go to parties and fucking like tell people, well, actually.
This
Tulsa.
This is what happens to me. This is what happens to me. I'm at a place by myself and I don't wear like shit that says maybe I'm the guy to talk to. Like I don't have a Howard hoodie on. I don't have a positive black woman shirt on.
You look like the type of nigga that might be, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not on the leftist side, but on the,
maybe
that's what they think.
My heavy metal shirts and punk rock shirts mean that, oh, maybe this guy hates niggers.
You might be a color doesn't matter kind of guy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Nigga, they are reading you.
Okay,
nigga, they read me for shit that I be on. Because I'll be like, yo.
Is that what it is?
I'm moving to Inglewood, nigga. Oh, well, Inglewood, that's where the culture's at. That's not my culture, nigga. I'm from Flatwood, Brooklyn. I'm from Queens Village, nigga. That's not my culture. Oh, that's where the culture's at. When I tell niggas that, niggas look at me a certain way. Like, I'm like, nigga, I moved to LA to fucking get banged on. Niggas ask me what my Mets hat mean. Like, nigga, I ain't move out here for that shit.
I wish somebody would ask me what my hat meant in 2025. I laugh so hard.
But them niggas would be like, no, you got to go to Ladera. That's where the culture is. And I'm like, all right, niggas.
Sure. Whatever.
Y'all niggas enjoy that shit.
Have fun.
But anyway, continue, Jason.
No, I think people come up to me.
Trust me, they're reading you, bro. Trust me.
I did not know. I thank you for telling me that I apparently look like an asshole, but I'll be minding my own business. I could be writing the most niggified shit ever, right? As I'm writing something, and then what? You
are one of the biggest niggas I've ever met. I will say that.
Like, people assume, oh, he talks a certain way. You know what they told me? One person walked up to me and goes, I heard, like when I was working at the homeless shelter, someone said, I heard you working here and you rich and you come from a rich family. It's like, man, my mama was a dope fiend. What are you talking about? I'm from Richmond, California.
Crazy. You real black.
Don't pay taxes.
Like all them Vibe magazine editors from the 90s would say, no, he's an actual, no, he's a real Negro.
Like, just fucking driving with no license.
Come on now.
I'm one large white woman away from just,
Oh my God.
completing the stereotype.
See, but your white women would be buying you Vans and not Jordans. That's the
Of
problem.
course. Of
That's why you're
course.
suspicious. That's why they cutting their eye at your ass. Look at this nigga
Bruh,
with his Vans.
They will walk up to me and say the most they'll say Trump shit. Feel
and to
real
test if you're
comfortable.
down with the Trump or just
They'll just talk with it. I'm not making this up. I was here in Mexico. I was writing an article and I had a shirt on. I think I had this shirt on, right? Because I'm one of them niggas, I'm always repping, right?
yeah.
And so the guy goes, California is all fucked up.
He was black?
No, it was a white guy.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm sure, like I'm trying to I'm doing a Wos, right? Yeah. Okay. The problem is all the crime. Close the laptop. Explain to me why you think that is.
Oh my God, Jason, you're insane.
Yeah.
See me right there. I'm be like, yeah, there's some shit, but it's not as bad as people say it is.
No.
That's all. And then I keep it pushing.
No. I was like, you have to explain to me.
Yeah,
Explain to me,
I didn't want to explain to cats that like in 1930, most of these niggas was washing white people's drawers and sharecropping. Like, because a lot of niggas that say that shit too. Like, I'm talking about, bruh. And I do got to get out of here. But like, I will give you one example just to throw somebody who's close to me under the bus. Somebody who's close to me said this, and I'll get out of here on this. They were talking about their job at one of the big tech firms.
Mm-hmm.
They have a great job, making six figures, crazy money, stock options, bonus checks at the end of every year, all of that. Said to me, I'm angry a lot at my job. Is because I know I work harder than every single white person at the company, which I was just like, how could you even prove whatever? I know I work harder than every single white person at the company, and I know that it's the residue of slavery.
They said you was straight face?
Yes. Their fucking cushy ass face. Oh God, I'm just throwing it out there. Their cushy ass job.
Wow.
And yes, I was like, man,
this is where
your lot in life to picking cotton in the Louisiana sun in July.
It's the same as my
12
cubicle.
hours?
It's the same as It's the same.
Jason,
the sun beats through the window. There's no shade.
Jason, I would have worked my ass off to be a house Negro, bro. Get me in the house, please. I can't die. I can't. Y'all would have died out there. I wouldn't have made it. Get me in the house, please. How do I get that promotion? Nigga.
Somebody said Wos losing friends, fucking around with Jason.
Yeah, man. This nigga.
Hey, real talk. That's why I never get invited to Wos parties. You be following Wos on social media. I'm like, damn.
If you was in LA, you'd be at every single one of my parties, bro.
Every fine black woman in Los Angeles.
We got some sisters. They gonna ask you if you voted for Kamala, but they fine though.
I'll laugh and then be like, vote.
Oh God, you will not get any pussy at my party doing that. Do not do that. Do not do that. Don't do that. Jason, don't do that. You will not get laid. They will grill you and kill you.
Oh man, that's
Jill
like
Stein. That's not no. You will no. They will ream you out. They'll call their friends over too. But like, do you hear this nigga?
That is
Oh,
my
yeah.
dream. You understand? This is my dream. If
Oh
I
my
could be in a
God, this
room
nigga's gonna break
full
up my party,
hot black women that all went to different sororities,
bro.
yelling at me about voting. Oh, please.
Bro, let me
Oh,
tell you something. I know double-digit black women, meaning over 10 black women, that had tickets and hotels reserved for the inauguration of Kamala Harris.
oh, that's sad.
Mhm.
That's sad. I'm not trying to be funny. That's sad.
2 weekends after she lost, I went to a party, saw a chick with Kamala merch on.
Oh, this is why they need me in their lives. I'm the shoulder they can cry on.
We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Woz.
Shouts to everybody in the chat. You guys kept me entertained. My brother Jason Miles, yo, listen, man. The Jay Baker show.
Yeah.
I text you this podcast of the year. I listened to that today. Like when I talk about deeply moved, like literally, there's somebody in my life who I haven't talked to in a while. I'm like, I gotta call this person.
Yeah.
And make it right. And like, I'm telling you, I was moved by that. So keep up the good work, man. I love you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peace, y'all.
Thank you, Woz. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. I'll end on a real note. I was having a good time until he made me real sad. The Jay Baker show resonated with me so much so that I called my mother. I don't talk to my mother that much, and I have reasons why I won't get into. You don't care to know anyway, but you know, something had happened to her. She was actually in the hospital, and there's a, like I said on the show, we all struggle with the power of forgiveness. The ability, I shouldn't say the ability to forgive feels like a power. And to work in a field where if you don't have a certain amount of empathy, you will be really bad at your job and you're going to be angry at everybody you deal with because they're going to be unrepentant in the wrong that they do continuously. And I'm not trying to get to anybody's heaven. It just seems like the right thing to do. So that's all I have to say on that point. Thank you, Woz, for hanging out and talking crazy for the last 2 hours. Tony says, "Better not make me." I'm gonna try not to, but it's a real thing, man. I'm not gonna be so corny as to say that one emotion can change the world, but I mean it's a start. We are extremely lacking right now, and all I see is just ridiculous amounts of apathy. So that being said, thank you guys for hanging out. I'll be back here tomorrow with another black guy. Two black guys. I'll be back here with Ray Reed and the Pascal Robert, where we're going to have a very, very fun discussion. Fun for us, not for y'all. Thank you very much, Prairie. Hopefully he hooks up that Van Lathan talk. How cool would that be? That'd be interesting. But thank you guys. And on that note, let's get out of here. See you tomorrow. Peace.